My name's Davina Lacey. I own Stockbridge Business Brokers. I've been selling businesses for about 8 years now. I used to work for a franchise selling existing businesses within that franchise because I owned a couple of those myself. I went through the process of selling 2 of my businesses, and when I got out of it, I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do, but I did know that I definitely should have used a business broker when I sold mine. It's not something that you do all day, every day, so you need an expert who understands the process and understands what to do, when to do it, how to do it, which is kind of how I got into it. So I was looking to buy another business. I met Don, who owned Stockbridge Business Brokers at the time, and he was like, "Nah, don't buy any of these. I think you should do this yourself." And so I started working with Don as a business broker, and then I took it over about a year ago. So I really love what I do, mainly because I'm helping people. So, you know, a lot of business owners are just mums and dads out there trying to get by, and whether they're retiring or they just need a change in their life, they need someone to help them get there. So that's kind of why I like doing what I do. Stockbridge Business Brokers, we've got a few different agents, and we're all generalists. We all look after all sorts of businesses, but each of us have our own backgrounds which have brought us to that. So my background is Pilates and franchises, so I tend to get a few more of those listings. Then I've got someone who's beauty and hair salons, someone who's professional services like accounting, bookkeeping, lawyers. We've got someone in the hospitality field, so she used to own a restaurant, so she understands that space perfectly, and just everything. We kind of love taking all listings, all different kinds of industries. I'm trying to hire people that are a little bit different. I think the business broking network as a whole is probably on a change at the moment. There aren't many women in the industry, and so me coming in as someone who's probably a little bit younger, I'm maybe creating a few waves, but in the process of selling a few of my businesses, I've actually approached a couple of owners and said, "Hey, what's next for you?" And it's really cool because we've got the insight from a vendor's point of view, so you can understand what your clients are going through, both the process factor but also the emotional factor, because there is a lot involved. You put your heart and soul into a business, so it's really cool that the team that we're building up, they've been through that process. Or in one of the cases, she's got like amazing leasing expertise behind her, so she understands that better than we do sometimes. So it's really cool just getting different backgrounds and bringing all of our knowledge together to make the selling process more enjoyable for people, I think. When I'm working with a new vendor, my approach is just to be upfront, open and honest with them. So we go through the whole process with them, talk about the sales process, what that might look like for them. We've got a whole heap of different stages that we do. So at the first place, you're just sort of getting to know them, getting to understand their business, because we can sell businesses, but no one understands a business as much as the owner does. So we've got to spend as much time as possible understanding what they do in the business as well, so that we're able to talk to buyers about it. As a general rule, we try to go out to that business and experience it from a customer's point of view if possible, so that you can explain it to them that way. And we just go through everything, what the sale might look like to them, whether it's a cash sale, whether it's a vendor finance, or any other sort of way, things that are going to come through. And you're holding these people's hands, because probably 70-80% of our clients have never sold or bought a business before. So you've just got to make sure everyone understands the process while you're going along. Advice I give to someone selling their business, probably too much advice. I think every business is sellable, but at what price and in what conditions, that will determine what happens with it. I think the thing that I would say to any vendor when they're selling is, don't you come up with a price, because then that price is going to stick in your head no matter what. How about I tell you what the market's doing, but also understand that the market's going to tell us what it's going to sell for more than anything else. So you've got to look at past sales and things like that, whereas a lot of owners just go, I want this much money for it, which is great, but is that actually what the market's going to pay for it? One thing I wish I'd known when I was going through the sales process, and probably a lot of my clients need to know it as well, is nothing goes smoothly. This is a very different process to selling a house. As much as I will definitely put them parallel to each other and explain it to a client using a house as an example, if you've got a 30-day settlement, very rarely will it happen in 30 days. So I wish I'd known that when I was selling my businesses, because you get so stressed towards the end and mentally you've checked out because you've got the offer, it's signed, it's sealed, in your head it's settled. But 99% of the time it will never settle on actual settlement date. So just expect it to go push out for a number of reasons, but as long as everyone's still involved and everyone's still working towards that common goal, we will get there. It's really interesting. Not many people think about the sales process until they want it sold. I'm a little bit different. When I opened my first business, at the end of week 1, I went to my accountant and I said, right, John, what do I need to sell this? And he was like, oh my gosh, you hate it after week 1. And I went, no, but there's going to be a day when I don't. So what do I need to do? So I think the sooner you can start thinking about how to set that business up for a successful sale, the better. So, obviously the most profitable it is, the better the sale price is going to be, but also what your role is in the business plays a big part in that too. If you've got a business that's called, Davina Lacey's hair and Davina Lacey's no longer in it, is that really the type of business that is going to be an easy sale? Probably not. So instead you need to change it. Let's change it to Ashgrove Hair, and maybe me stepping out a little bit, only doing 3 days a week or something and managing it. So you've got to look at those different elements, I think. But honestly, have a chat with a business coach or a business broker and we can give you that advice a couple of years out quite happily. I remember, I think it was within my first month of starting as a broker with Don, I had this meeting with a beautiful Thai lady who owns this gorgeous little Thai restaurant, which is near my house and I love it. And I was like, oh, I'm devastated you're selling because I love your food here. And at the end of the meeting, she started crying and I was like, oh my gosh, what have I done? And she's like, you're the first broker that sat in front of me that hasn't been mean to me and said I spoke bad English, they couldn't understand me. And I was like, she was beautiful. She had the most beautiful English ever and she'd just been belittled by these people, and I felt so bad for her. She'd just gone through this horrible process. I didn't end up selling it for her, but I gave her advice because I said to her, don't hire a business broker because you've got to pay us $20,000 and you're only going to get $50K for it anyway. And I was like, go on this page, go on that page, do this, do that. And if you need a contract, call me up, I'll send you a blank one. I just felt so sorry for her with how she'd been treated by all these other business brokers that were already out there. And I was just like, this is why I'm doing it. I believe vendors should definitely engage a broker when selling their business. I didn't, and I regret it. I think for a number of reasons. The business broker fields all of the inquiries. So I know as an owner, when I had someone go, oh, I want to buy your business, in my head mentally, I thought it was sold to that person straight away. So you overcome that because the broker's dealing with that and going through all of those emotions for you. But then when it comes down to the negotiation process, as an owner, it's really hard to stand your ground against someone, especially if you're doing that negotiation face to face. Plus, in your head, you're like, I just really want it sold. Whereas if you can have that business broker acting as a middleman and going, okay, cool, the offers come in at, let's say, $700,000, you want 800,000. Let's try and push it and see where we can get to, because I believe it's worth $750, so let's try and work with that. The business broker can negotiate both sides and use their emotions and go, I think that they've got more in them, or I think this guy's willing to, whatever it is. That business broker and the middleman factor in the negotiation is pivotal. And then you've got the other end of it. Once you're in contract, having someone constantly following up and making sure it's on track, and just having someone for the buyer to call every couple of days instead of calling the owner. I feel like an owner would absolutely hate it if they had to talk to the buyer almost every day.